Hello everyone and welcome back. It's me, Martin, and today I've got a new topic for you. Today we're going to be looking at how best to determine your own hourly rate as an online English teacher. This video will be suitable for new, aspiring online English teachers as well as those with a bit more experience. I hope you find this video useful, and if you do, please let me know in the comments, and also let me know what sort of topics you would like in a future video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It will always help with promoting this video on YouTube. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Tip number 1, research the market. It makes sense to try and find out a bit more information about other online English teachers in a similar background to you and the sort of experience that they have. If you're trying to rate yourself above the market rate, then you may find it difficult to encourage students to book lessons with you. However, if you're going to go and target particular students well under the market rate, you may find yourself overwhelmed with too many students. One good strategy is to have a look at a variety of different platforms and see what other tutors are offering particular courses. See how much they're charging, what that involves, what that course involves, and try to find out a bit more information about the sort of background that that particular tutor has. Tip number 2, evaluate qualifications and experience. Try to take into account the qualifications that you hold, whether it's a bachelor's degree, a postgraduate degree, and any sort of qualifications or certificates that you've undertaken, such as the CELTA, the Trinity Cert TESOL, or any other TEFL related course. All this will give you a potential value compared to those that do not hold the same qualifications as you. The greater the qualifications, particularly related to teaching, the more that you could demand for an hourly rate. Also, think about your experiences. Have you been teaching face-to-face predominantly? Have you been teaching online predominantly? Or do you have a balance or a varied teaching experience? Think about the number of years that you've been teaching. Think about your competitiveness. Think about what you could offer potential students compared to other tutors who may have limited or no experience at all. The greater the experience, the greater the qualifications, the more that you could demand for an hourly rate. Tip number 3, target audience. It's great to offer courses on just general conversational English. However, what I would recommend is think about the sort of target audience, target student demographic that you're trying to encourage to book lessons with you. If you're going to be targeting young learners, for example, then you're going to be trying to compete with a variety of teachers who have maybe a number of years experience of teaching young learners. If you've not taught young learners before, then that's going to be related to how much you're going to be charging hourly. However, if you can make up on qualifications, as I mentioned previously, then that could pull it the other way. If you have young learner teaching certificates, promote that and target that particular audience or that particular student. However, if you're going to go through the adult conversational route or exam preparation route, think about how old those students might be. Again, you could go through the young learner route and prepare young learners on a variety of different examinations, such as the Cambridge Main Suite exams, but you could also target audiences or students that want to take an IELTS exam or a Cambridge first certificate, and they need particular exams for either their degree program, their courses, or to study abroad. For those that are more specialized and you're targeting particular students, the greater that you can charge per hour. However, if you're going to be trying to compete and teach just general English to a variety of different students, then that may warrant a lower rate compared to more specialized English. Tip number 4, methodology and resources. If you've been teaching, you will have your own various resources available. One good thing is to think about your methodology, how that differs compared to all the various online tutors that are teaching students day in, day out. Are you going to be teaching following your own recipe, your own methodology? Have you refined your methodology over the years with your experience? All this takes into account. Now, also with resources, do you have your own unique resources, your own unique approach to delivering those resources? And if so, that has a value compared to just delivering courses and lessons based on a course book or a more general lesson. So think about how you deliver lessons and what you offer compared to all the other tutors out there. The more specialized, the more unique your service is, the greater that you can demand for an hourly rate. Tip number 5, availability and demand. Now, the great thing about teaching online is you can teach a range of students around the world which fits in with their schedule. You may be teaching students from South America, Southeast Asia, or Europe. So think about the sort of time differences and how it kind of fits for your availability. If you're going to be making yourself available 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, then you may be able to improve the rate that you earn each day. However, if you limit your availability to only an hour here or an hour there, then there's going to be difficulty for maybe some students booking that particular hour. One thing that you can do is ask yourself, how many hours are you willing to teach per day, and how much do you envisage earning per week? If your aim is to earn $2,000 per month, then you could break it down to $500 US dollars per week. And if you're going to be teaching 4 hours per day, 5 days a week, then that's possibly an achievable target. However, if your hours are limited, maybe you may have to reconsider how many hours that you're willing to commit to teaching online. And in that sense, you may have to consider how much that you want to charge potential students if you're more in demand than you expected and your hours are being booked up. Again, you need to try and evaluate and respond accordingly to rates and hours and availability and demand and all that sort of thing. The more that you increase your rate per hour, the sort of demand diminishes, as basic supply and demand in that case. Tip number 6, location and cost of living. Now, the great benefit of teaching English online is that you don't need to be fixed in one particular location. You could be either living in Southeast Asia, you could be living in Europe, America, whatever country that you envisage. However, the cost of living will also inform how much that you want to charge per hour. As such, in the UK, the cost of living, unfortunately, is increasing month by month, week by week, day by day, with inflation. So there's a consideration that I need to consider, I suppose, as an online English teacher, about how much is my time worth per hour, and is that justified based on my cost of living, my location. However, someone in Southeast Asia may be willing to charge a slightly lower rate, a more competitive rate, based on their own circumstances. Maybe the cost of living is a lot less compared to the UK, or you could be based in another country where the cost of living is greater than the UK. All this needs to be taken into account before you start your first lessons and teaching online. I suppose one thing that you could do is you could research about the average income levels of online teachers within that particular region that you're located, and you can start to determine how much that maybe regional students are willing to pay for online lessons. Tip number 7, platform fees and taxes. If you're going to be teaching through a matching service like Preply, there's a cost associated with that. So what you're going to be charging potential students, a commission is taken from that, and so you need to take that into account when you're setting your hourly rate. So how much are you willing to take into that cost into account, and how much are you going to be setting your rate to include that? The other aspect is, if you're going to be teaching freelance online tutoring students from around the world, there's going to be certain aspects where you have to declare your income and pay tax on your earnings. Unfortunately, that's the case. So wherever you're going to be located, you need to start paying tax on your earnings. And one good aspect is to think about your income in thirds after any commissions that you've paid out. So if, say for example, in your pocket you get $30, $10 you put it aside for the tax man, another $10 you just put it aside into your savings, and the final $10 that could be paid for any outgoings. Yeah, so from $30, $10 is in your pocket. Tip number 8, seek feedback and adjust. The final tip for this is, once you've created your profile and you've developed your course and you have a potential student in mind, you've set your rate, maybe approach particular students and see if they're willing to pay. You can do a variety of questionnaires and surveys to find out the sort of rate that students are willing to pay, and then you can get an idea and start to implement that and adjust your profile accordingly. Alternatively, you could ask a family member to review your profile and to see if there's any improvements that could be made, either on your background information on your tutor's site, or whether there's anything related to the course or the target that you're trying to develop. And based on these responses, you can then adjust your profile accordingly, ensuring that particular aspects of your profile are edited and improved upon, and that your hourly rate is adjusted also. So those are the 8 tips for today. I hope you found today's video useful, and if you did, please hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments if you've got any questions or any other advice that you've got in regards to setting your hourly rate. As ever, I appreciate your time and thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in a future video. Take care, stay safe, and happy teaching. Bye bye.